All right, so I am super excited that we're going to go over this conversation that we've been having. It has been so beneficial to so many of our clients, and it's such high value. So I want you guys to just present to everyone what we've been presenting to our clients in the last few months.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. The where this came from, Janet, is that we have so many clients, and you know this because we both deal with it. So many clients are coming to us saying, I don't love my house. I'd like to move, but I just don't want to walk away from my 3% interest rate. And as we looked at that, we came up with a strategy that really makes it so a person doesn't have to walk away from their 3% interest rate. We're calling it keep your 3% rate and build wealth. So let's just talk about how this works. And we actually took a real client. His name is Tanner, and this is Tanner's house. And he's got a 2.875 interest rate. His payment's 1705 on that house. And we said, all right, Tanner, what if you were to take this house and turn it into a rental? Because you don't want to walk away from a 2.875. It's such a good interest rate. What would happen? Well, we would say, take that house and go get a little home equity line of credit on it so you can borrow 5% of the down payment towards your next house. And in that case, we just ran some quick numbers and said, all right, it's $169 a month for that HELOC plus his 1705. He's going to have a total monthly payment of $1,874, but guess how much he can rent that house for? It's like $2,900, and that's on the low side. So he has potential cash flow above and beyond his payment of over $1,026. All right, so then we said, all right, what's a reasonable house that Tanner would be interested in? And this house is a little more expensive than the one he has. It's around $625. It's got 6 bedrooms up, no, 3 up, 3 down, and then bathrooms 2 up and 1 down. So this particular house has an apartment in the basement with a full kitchen. So if he wanted to, he could rent this. So we ran the numbers on this one and said, all right, let's just say he gets an interest rate at 6.5. The payment on this thing is $4,097.20. He's only putting 5% down. All right, what happens? Oops, I went one too far. Oh, there we go. Okay, so look at this. Here's the new payment on this house. And it's, it's the same whether he decides to rent the basement or not. That's the payment. But if he decides to rent the basement on this new house, there's $1,700 of positive income. If he doesn't rent it, nothing. Here's the rental he has from the old house coming still, $1,026. And his portion of the new payment after the rent is only $1,371. That's less than what he was paying before. He was paying $1,705, remember, on his old house. So imagine having a new house and your payment's actually less than you're paying on your existing one. And again, not everybody wants to have a renter in the basement. It makes sense for some families, but if you didn't want that, still, that payment's only $3,071. All right, let's see what happens next. Something we want to look at when we do this analysis is, what's the big picture? Like, what's really happening to a person's net worth, to their wealth? And what you have to look at is the principal pay down that's happening on these loans. So on his original home, that house is paying down at $845 a month. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, it's not 1,000, but good grief. Imagine putting $1,000 a month to your net worth. That adds up. And that's just the house he's not even living in. The new house is $753, plus he's got $334 a month of extra cash floating around because his old payment was $1,705, but now his portion's only $1,371. Isn't that cool? That's cool. So here's the fun part. All that's based on an interest rate at 6.5. So then we said, likelihood of being able to refinance in the next couple of years is really high. So what happens if in the next couple of years he refinances down to a 4.5% sometime in 2023 or 24? Now look what happens. His payment drops down to $3,352, and if he rents the basement, $1,700, plus the rental from the old house, his payment's only $626 in that case. And then let's say he doesn't want to rent the basement. Still, killer deal. Here's the new payment, got the rental from the old house, and his portion only $23.26 compared to the old $17.05. Not bad at all. Like, who wouldn't pay an extra $600 a month to have the new house of their dreams and not be stuck in the same old house that they don't really love? Pretty cool. You know, something else that Zach and I ran here is the effective rate. You know, if you took that $1,000 from this coming off of the old home and you applied it, and then you can do some math to back into this, that interest rate drops from the effective rate drops from like 6.5 down to 3.5 when you apply that extra $1,000 to it. It's just another way of looking at it to say, gee, I could actually have a house with a rate of 2.875 and another house with an effective rate, until I do get around to refinancing it, still much lower than the actual interest rate. All right, now, once you refinance this at 4.5, the original principal pay down still continues around that $845 a month, but look what happens to the new house. Now that one jumps up to $985 a month. Plus he's got this extra cash because the payment dropped, right? And so now instead of 17, he's only responsible for 626. He's got an extra $1,079 of extra cash floating around each month. Now, the other factor that you have to take into account, because we always want to look at big picture, long term, what's happening. Well, yeah, you're paying it down, but your home's also appreciating over time. Here's a chart. I know you guys have all seen this, but this is the chart that shows the appreciation for every single state over the last 30 years in the country. Now, the national average is right up here. It's 275%. And you can look at, you know, each state and the one you're in, but right here, we happen to be in Utah. That's 599%, almost 600% appreciation over a 30-year period. Now, we don't ever want to bank on something like that because you never know, right? Appreciation is fickle. It comes and it goes. And over 30 years, yes, it was almost 600%. But when we run our numbers, we always like to say 3%. That's just a safe, conservative number. So what's going to happen to these homes that Tanner owns? Well, his original home that's worth 600, if it goes up 3% a year, should be worth around 806 10 years from now. And the new house that he would buy for 625 would be worth around 840-ish. So look at this. If Tanner stays in the original home and he gets appreciation of 206 and he's got principal pay down of around 101,000, he's got this net worth increase of around 307,000. Now look at the new house. If he moves to the new house and he gets appreciation around 215 plus principal pay down of around 90,000, plus he's got this extra $334 floating around each month, which adds up to over $40,000 in 10 years. That's an increase of 345,000. So his net worth is going up $653,000 by these estimates over that 10-year period. And that's before the refi, okay? So after the refi, these numbers don't change here, right? Because that's the old house. But the new house picks up some more acceleration on the principal pay down and the extra cash. So now that number comes out to 462, which brings the bottom to $770,000. This is real. Like, this is how people build wealth in real estate. And this is just a 10-year period. If you push this thing out over 20 years or 30 years and do it with even more properties, you know, that's how people build a really fantastic real estate portfolio. So I guess the sum of the entire analysis and the strategy would be the small and simple things really add up over time. Over a 10-year period, this is like a $462,000 decision that adds real net worth to Tanner's his bottom line. It's his retirement. And that doesn't even count the fact that rents are likely to go up over the next 10 years. And that would add even more to it. So it's probably really like a $500,000 decision whether he decides to do this or not.
Wow, I mean, this just really gets me excited because I have to tell you, I can get people houses in this market. So I look at this and I think, oh my gosh, like what a great service to our clients that we can educate them. In fact, there's a client, a mutual client that we have that just was talking about, oh, what if the value goes down and I better sell and pull my equity and yada yada. They were just going on and on. But their original plan was to do just this. And
Yeah.
when they ran the analysis, they were like, oh, yeah, let's keep our home and get another one. And I'm just so excited for them and for all the wealth that they're going to build. And they're going to be investing in themselves. I mean, real estate is the biggest hedge against inflation.
Yeah,
So,
what makes this work so well is the fact that people have these low rates that we've been able to get them for the last couple of years. The client you're talking about has a 2.49 interest rate. What a killer rate. And the rental amount compared to their payment is a positive $960 every month of positive cash flow. And that's what makes it work because you're pulling all that money into the new house and it makes it so affordable. And you still have, then you have two houses working for you at the same time, gathering, appreciation and principal pay down, which both are adding to your wealth.
oh, well, thank you so much for going over this again. I just am so excited to get out there and help people build wealth.
We are too. Thanks.